And finally, our editor, Howard Smith, is probably best known for working with James Cameron, who just did Avatar. He edited one of Jim's first films, The Abyss, and it went on to, he also edited another film, Captain Bigelow, who's also getting a lot of awards buzz, Point Break. And if you go down his resume, it's just incredible. So we got a great who's who to work behind the scenes. Now, in front of the camera, we were, I believe, equally as fortunate. Our lead, the person who played the FBI agent, is a young actor named James Van Der Beek, who many of you know as from the television series Dawson's Creek. He also did movies like Varsity Blues and Rules of Attraction. And he recently has joined the cast of Mercy on NBC and has been on talk shows both promoting Formosa Betrayed and Mercy. We also had veteran character actors like Tai Ma, who plays a Taiwanese government minister, Wendy Crewson, John Hurd, and I myself have a role in the film. So we basically are at this point about to release the film. Like I said, this is the first stop in a 20-city promotional tour. On February 26th, which is the weekend, of course, that's the Friday before February 28th. We wanted to release the film on 2/28, but 2/28 is on a Sunday this year. So we are opening February 26th in 4 major cities. That's New York, Los Angeles, Orange County, San Francisco Bay Area, and here in Boston. So we will be opening here opening weekend. And then after that, we're going to be opening in 4 to 5 cities in the US and Canada every weekend for 4 to 5 weeks until we hit 20 to 25 cities. Our distributor, Screen Media, has been hugely behind this picture. They really have been strongly marketing this towards the Chinese and Taiwanese communities. That said, they believe strongly that this film has a lot of crossover appeal. And that's one of the reasons we're here today. Because it's a bit of a plea to my Taiwanese brothers and sisters in the audience. Because we really need your help. We don't have the budget of an Avatar or an Invictus or one of these movies out there. We don't have that type of advertising budget. We're going to primarily advertise in the Chinese and Taiwanese newspapers, on college campuses, and on television talk shows and news articles. But we're not going to have a ton of money to buy ads. So this is going to be on you. This is going to be on the Taiwanese community to really come together and come see this picture. And we're asking every Taiwanese person in the country to see the movie twice. and each time, we want you to bring a non-Taiwanese friend. And the reason for that is, frankly, we didn't make this movie for you. We didn't make this movie for the Taiwanese people because you know this story already. Our goal is to tell this story to a wider, more mainstream audience. I will give you an example of how this took place. One of our first major film festivals was the Montreal Film Festival. The film has been at 8 major film festivals. We won several awards. And the first major one was at the Montreal World Film Festival. In the first screening of the movie, which was sold out, 70 to 80% of the audience was Taiwanese or Chinese. That meant 20 to 30% was not. By the last screening, those numbers had flipped. 70 to 80% of the audience was non-Taiwanese, non-Asian, and 20 to 30% were. And basically, and it was still sold out. So what that told us was that this movie does have tremendous crossover appeal, does have tremendous mainstream appeal, because, like I said, we tell this from an audience's perspective. A lot of people ask us, why did we pick James Van Der Beek? Well, truthfully, we wanted basically the most white-bread American male we could find. And there is no one whiter than James Van Der Beek. He really is the audience for this. And you see the story unfolding through his eyes, through his perspective. And our goal is, like I said, this movie has always been, I would say, the themes of this movie are twofold. The first is that we're dealing with the theme of identity. And the second is the theme of justice, which in movie language means lack of identity and injustice. These are universal themes. You don't have to be Taiwanese to understand what that means, to have your identity taken away from you, for there to be injustice in the world. And that's the experience of this FBI detective, because frankly, we could have set this story anywhere. He could have gone to South Africa. He could have gone to Northern Ireland. In fact, we were showing the film in Brazil at the Sao Paulo Film Festival. And it was fascinating because a lot of the Brazilian audience were mesmerized, and what they said after was, this story really appeals to us because we too went through a dictatorship. We too had a military dictatorship in the 80s. It too was supported by the American government. And so this story of oppression is universal. And I think that that's the key to these types of movies like Hotel Rwanda, Last King of Scotland, The Killing Fields, Year of Living Dangerously. These are movies that have a timeless quality. And that's what we were always aiming for with this movie. A lot of my fellow Taiwanese who invested were always like, we need a Schindler's List. I always said, no, we don't. I mean, Schindler's List would be nice, but that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for, first and foremost, an entertaining story that will bring audiences to come see it. But hopefully they will learn something along the way. And the spotlight that it will create on this issue, which I cannot tell you how important that spotlight is today more than ever. I'm sure you all read in the newspapers this morning that China is now breaking off military contacts with the United States. Why are they doing that? They're doing it specifically because the United States has announced an arms sales of $6.4 billion to Taiwan. Most Americans don't know that there are over 1,000 missiles pointed at Taiwan right now. Most Americans don't know that the United States is on the hook to help defend Taiwan. And so that's why this movie, the timing of this movie, is more critical than ever. And with that, I want to introduce the trailer of the film. Some of you may have seen what is it called? The unedited version on screen. This is going to be actually the version of the trailer that's going to be showing in theaters nationwide. So so this is actually the world premiere. You're the first people to see this.
Yes. They killed him because of his work.
Apparently he was a very outspoken critic of the current government in Taiwan.
This is what they're teaching these days? Not your run-of-the-mill course study.
They're in Taipei.
We are being allowed one emissary to observe and possibly assist in their investigation.
Yes, sir.
Agent Kelly? Susan Kane, I'm the American liaison here.
Welcome to the Republic of China, Agent Kelly.
We're outsiders here. They do things differently, and they're not going to let us on the inside. Don't use your phone. They're listening.
You had 30 guys because they've been hitting the door and they shot him.
It's their show.
Am I supposed to assist if they're killing the suspects?
The suspects are no longer your suspects.
Guys, tell me something bigger's going on here. The Taiwanese government had been murdered. What did you just tell me?
You start telling me what is going on right now, or I am not going to be able to protect you.
The Chinese say we are their brothers. But if we are brothers, why do they treat us like this?